first ride of the season. Hello YouTube, Region Rat Rider here. It is a lovely Sunday late morning, and I am shooting my first motovlog of the year. That's pretty good. This actually isn't my first ride of the year. I've taken a couple. One was to the dealership to get the summer or season oil change and inspection done. I also had yet another service engine soon light issue. This one they chalked up to saying that you can trip some ABS fault by having the bike moving forward when you start it. Because they checked the ABS, found no problems with it, and then they just cleared the code. So hopefully that'll be my last error this year, which brings me to, I was going to do a video last year on, my thoughts or my review of this bike. I did a little bit of that, I think, in my second to last video, but my follow-up, I have about 2,300 miles on this bike. It's a mixed bag. So on one hand, the bike handles great. It performs great. I would assume that if you put a stage 3 or stage 4 in a Milwaukee 8, wow, that guy's a jackass, and a Milwaukee 8 114 and took it to stage 4 117, or if you got like a Suzuki, what is it, MT 109 Boss, I guess, you'd have similar performance. But if you're looking for, that Suzuki really isn't a touring bike, it's a cruiser. If you're looking for a cruiser tourer, especially stock, you can't, as far as performance goes, you can't get better than this bike, I don't think. Maybe a BMW if, you want that style of bike. I personally am not a huge fan of the look of BMWs, so that's a no-go for me. So compared to like a Harley Road Glide, off the gate, as far as shocks, frame, and performance, this bike's very much superior. However, like I said, it is a mixed bag, so there are some things about this bike that I do not like. The paint looks nice where it's applied correctly, but the fit and finish of an Indian is really just not the same as some other manufacturers, especially Harley. I've had several other motorcycles in my lifetime, and the two Indians that I've had have had the sloppiest fit and finish. If that's not a big thing to you, if you don't mind having kind of, like cheap plastic chrome stuff here, or, kids' toy quality plastic here, if that's not something that really concerns you, then you can strike that off the list. For me, it does kind of matter a little bit. If I spend $30,000 on a motorcycle, I expect a certain level of refinement, and Indian's kind of lacking in that category. The second thing, and I know there's should a bunch of Indian riders watch this, they're going to be angry with me. The second is reliability. I've had, let's see, in this time that I've been riding motorcycles, I've had 3 Harley Davidsons, a Super Glide, a Street Glide, which if you watch my earlier videos you can see, and my CVO Limited, which again also motovlogged with. And then I've had 2 Indians. I've had a Roadmaster and now this Challenger. What the Indians share is the same thing that is the opposite of what Harleys share. The only time I've ever been stranded on the road because of my motorcycle is when I've been riding an Indian. My Roadmaster broke down 3 times for 2 different issues. Broke down twice for the same issue. The first time they said, oh, it was a freak occurrence, there must have been a wire loose. And the second time they're like, no, we actually have to replace the ECM. And then as soon as I got the ECM replaced, the throttle body failed. So I was stranded twice with my Roadmaster. And I got stranded with my Challenger. I had maybe, I was trying to do a last ride of the season last year, and I turned it on, and all the entire dashboard was lit up with warning lights, and I had like 16 different codes. They ended up saying it was a problem with some connection. One of the plugs had a fault in it, and they replaced it. But regardless, I was on the road, I was able to get my bike back, and then I had to have it, shipped back to the dealership. And when I get it back from the dealership, and I go into winter storage. I put the stabilizer in there, put it on the tender, protect it from the elements. And when I go to start it this spring, service engine soon lights on again. So it was drivable, so I did take it to the dealership, and that's when they told me I must have been rolling forward when it started, which sounds kind of hinky to me, but regardless, I'm back on the road on it. So that's the problem that I've had with Indians. I like the product as far as the features that you get. I like their product as far as the performance that comes along with it. But I do have a problem with the fit and finish and reliability of their product. Next year I will be in the black on this bike, so I'm debating what I'm going to do, because I do like it. It's one of those things, I do a lot of traveling, and it is a big comfort that when you have a Harley, if your bike has problems, a Harley dealership is not too far away. If my Roadmaster had broken down while I was in Sturgis, or on my way to Sturgis, or I was on my way to do Tail of the Dragon, I'd have been screwed beyond belief. Trip would have been canceled. Have no idea how much it would have cost to get my bike back to, an Indian dealership to get it fixed. So that is a concern. My faith in Indian Polaris products as far as reliability has been rattled slightly. So that being said, the other thing about this bike that I don't like is getting back to the fit and finish. There are just things that are cheap. those lower doors that I really don't open, the spring mechanism in there is very flimsy, and there have been many people who have said, I put my phone in there, next thing you know it pops open and my phone goes flying out, there goes $1,000 phone. Some people have gone so far as to tape them. Yeah, they tape them shut so they don't fly open. You're driving a close to $30,000 motorcycle and you have to tape the door shut. That's a problem. The other problem that I personally have is there's guards on the saddlebags. If you look at the picture of them, they'd be reminiscent of, for those of you who are gearheads, the wheel wall covers on like a Pontiac Aztec, except instead of these being spray-on molding, they're glued on. And I say that's the key point with them being glued on, because they go out and then they fold around this way, and where the glue is here, it's separated on both sides. So I have to go and apply some double-sided tape to those saddlebag covers if I want to keep them on. And again, that's not a huge issue, except for the fact that this is a $30,000 motorcycle. You shouldn't have to do that on a $30,000 motorcycle. So those are the... Why is that guy getting out of his car? So those are the pros and cons of an Indian, at least this particular Indian. And I've read reports of, the Super Chief or the new Indian Chief, the Indian badge on the tank. It's a BIM part, and it was designed for a flatter tank. And because the Chief tank is, more curvy, it doesn't sit flush on there. So there's a gap by the I and the N where the emblem doesn't stay on. And I mean that's just that's par for the course. I've noticed with Indian motorcycles, their fit and finish just is not up to standard of their competitors. So when this bike gets in the black, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because I do really love riding this bike. It is so much fun once you're on it, and once you're pulling the throttle back and getting moving, it is just a absolute pleasure to ride. But would I be as confident to take this bike to Sturgis as I was my Street Glide or my CVO? Absolutely not. Oh, and I'm gonna hit this thing again. Oh, this is quite the problem. Yeah, so I'm planning a trip to Sturgis next year. This year we're going to do the Tunnel of Trees. I'm going to talk about that in my next video, what my plans are for the next couple seasons. But that's my update on this bike and Indians in general. So this is Region Rat Rider signing out. I hope everyone has a great week and rest of the weekend, depending on when I post this. Probably week, I'll say. And I will chat at you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.